Well, all right. Started. Good play on getting the dynamite. There's nothing really I have to say about that. That's pretty fair. Right here, I would reconsider positioning here, especially because you're playing against with the limited support. You're not playing within range of your Ana LOS, and you're also not really going to be playing in a way where your McCree or your other tanks are going to be able to back you up. I know we're playing poke comp here, but it probably is a little bit safer for you to stick closer to your tanks right here, just so you don't die as easily. Right here, I would probably say the initial reaction you should have is probably to drop and back down to where your tanks are, rather than stay up and poke a little at all. Okay, that's exactly what you do. Perfect. I know we kind of don't get it right here. Right here, it's just kind of unfortunate. Right here, I would say be more focused on getting poke here rather than going off of trying to finish kills. Because it's a little bit more important that you try to stay up here, and we're just not really able to stay stabilized too well. Good target focus. This is solid. I would probably work on breaking TP there instead, as opposed to breaking the trying to shoot people. Right here, we just kind of we're just gonna give a point. Yeah, just dying. That's good. Heals don't do damage, so you don't give them all charge on the healers. That's also good too. Good call. So against them, you should be looking for really like just trying to watch out for pressuring here. I probably wouldn't have been taking this off angle right here because it's just not super effective. Yeah, that's a good bob. Good poke. I wouldn't throw that dynamite there just because you know you're not going to get a ton of value off of it, but if you know you're going to switch, then it's not going to be a big deal. Thanks a good. Zung is a workable call here, especially because you know they're not going to have too much to easily contest you. Once again, just keep an eye on where you're standing as opposed to if you're able to rotate fast enough, because you don't want to get caught out here. Because you're not really able to catch them here on the rotate as easily as they would like to, even though their TP runs out. You're going on a solo flank here, which is a little dangerous, especially because they have the Orisa pole and the Sigrok. That can, if you get caught out off of that really quickly, then it's not going to be a great time. I think you probably could have survived out of that one. Just use your concussions instead. Good boop. Good kill. Overall, I don't have actually very much to say about that. Just watch out for your rotations, otherwise you played that fairly solidly. So realistically, sitting in spots like this shouldn't like actually work, especially because you now know that they have a monkey. I would be careful once again how much time you end up spending trying to set up here. It's gonna work, but if they know, then it's a bad time. I don't know how they don't see you, I'm gonna be honest, but I'll tire. I don't really have much to say about that. If you're able to, maybe just call out, if you like can call that you are going to do something like that. I don't remember if you do or not. If you're able to call something like that, then you can set the rest of your team up to be able to engage off of that, and you might be able to get like a full team wipe and get a little bit more of an ult advantage, as opposed to like killing two and then forcing them to reset. Their monkey is not great at watching your traps. I can say that for sure. Be careful how much you spam here because you're gonna feed their Zarya a ton. Because their Zarya's already gonna be able to get a lot of whole charge off of our Devo here. So you have to be careful about how much you poke. You have to balance between getting your ult and them getting their grav as well. I try Zarya is always not fun. So biggest thing I would say right here is you should probably be playing on height. One of them. It doesn't really matter which one, just because then it doesn't allow the tracer to and the other tanks to walk in on you here as easily. While going for flanks is always creative. It doesn't always work, so be careful, obviously. Funny sleep. Teabagged by Devo. Yeah, so their tracer there saw you, and I think she definitely called that. So that's why we're gonna know off of here. We're gonna try to aggro on you, fight around you, and we're gonna aggro on that. It is a little funny that they're not able to do anything off of it. Gonna be honest. It was good that you held your ult there. I know a lot of people would have probably panicked ult and tried to have done it, but that was very solid. I still wouldn't. Probably not worth hiding in there, but your 2 kills off of your passive is able to clean it up pretty well. Same thing. You're not really playing the bait role here, so I would probably be sitting height once again, just because it makes it easier for you to rotate and it makes it harder for them to jump onto you. You spend a little time here chasing the flank as opposed to being here engaged, and you could use a tie earlier here. All right, yeah, good priority. Right here, you should probably be watching the monkey because I think that's what was getting called here. The tracer falling on the trap is a good happenstance, though. If you don't get this spot after like 2 tries, I probably wouldn't. No, I guess 2 tries. Once again, you got to be careful because you've burned all of your resources to get in or out. Dude, I have no clue how they don't know that you're there. Good pick. Oh my god. So really the biggest thing I have to say about that round is when you're playing the aggressive flanks like that, the kind of cheese spots, you only really get away with this because their team's not, quite frankly, is not good, you know. Against any like higher, more coordinated team, they're gonna be able to capitalize off of the fact that you spent so many of your resources getting into that corner that you're not gonna be able to get out, no matter, because quite frankly we have like Ron Diva, we're not gonna be able to close the gap fast enough to come save you. I just wouldn't. Generally, it's not good gameplay habits to do that, but you are exploiting the enemy team, so it's understandable in this situation. Just you have to be careful what type of play habits you use whenever you're playing against different teams. It's not necessary. It's usually a better idea to encourage, or it's better to encourage proper play as opposed to trying to see how much you can get away with. All right. So right here, I think your goal should be to shred tank, really. You should be probably poking from main angles or even honestly mostly main angles to try to just burn shield. Because especially because you're playing a McCree here. I really wouldn't. I would be careful about how you take these fights here. Because taking the off angles here can be effective, but once again, it's any like coordinated team here, like you would immediately have died. So it's not really like you need to be playing to get more team value as opposed to individual value. But granted, this is map 3, and we knew what we could get away with, so I can understand in this case, but once again, you could help out a little bit more. Just shred tanks. Shred shields. Shred tanks is what you're really good at. And controlling off angles. Yeah, here you really shouldn't have split. You should have stayed with the rest of the team. It's really not worth it here. You taking the off angle. It would have been stronger if you were there with the rest of the team. Being able to aggro fight with us properly. Because by here, you could have, instead of just having that initial burst of damage, you could have been consistently putting damage in previously. And then you could have been able to take the off angle once you know you're going to be able to get value immediately, as opposed to maybe they'll turn on you and melt you. Good fight. Wrap it up real quick. Once again, I would be careful about how frequently you off angle, because really it's just yeah. I don't want to repeat myself too many times. Roll the soldier real quick. 1-2 easy. Biggest thing I have to say there, just once again, just be careful with how wide you play. But otherwise, I don't really have much. That's really solid. I would just be, once again, I would also consider your hero pool there. It works against them though, so I can't knock you too many points off of playing what works. Because ultimately, you know, it wins you the map. But you're just getting poke here. When you see them, yeah, that's good. Only real major knock I have here is I would immediately place your trap a little bit earlier than that, because you see they're immediately going to try to rotate one direction. As opposed to waiting, you could have dropped it on right side. You maybe would have been able to get a pick off here. I would watch your target focus again. I don't know what's getting called right. I don't remember what was getting called right now, but you do play this correctly. You know, just get hits off. Solid. Nothing major there to get worried about. Yeah, once again, I just be careful how much you're poking, because you're going to be feeding their Zarya. Just constantly be aware. Let's go there. You actively see that and you stop shooting. It's a good play. Good finish. Be careful taking that off angle, because the Sig's the only one there that's able to support you if you do end up dying. A lone concussion mine sitting in the middle of nowhere. Alright, good call there, being cognizant, playing with the run properly in order to not get called off. Would have been a little bit better if you even turned around and shot him, but that's alright. I don't think anybody really knew that he was even flanking at that time, so I can't knock too much for that. Be aware of where you're playing. Make sure you're able to rotate fast enough, because I think you rotated a little bit not great here. Yeah, don't do stuff like that, because especially against you're not going to win that 1v1, especially because you know he has that mercy pocket. It's just not worth it. One of these traps. It's funny. Tornado here, right? Good. Kind of obvious, but you know, obvious sometimes works, so can't blame you for that one, really. Good salt point. Go salt place. I think just got shots down. Don't get too greedy with it. If you can just kill a tank, honestly, with it, it's worth it. Because when you just blow up a tank, just like one of them easily, then it'll still win the fight as opposed to you killing immediately through. Using the BAP window. Let's go. An interesting place. Once again, it's a little bit better than the other one, I would say. Good pick. Good stall here. I'm gonna rotate the hide call here. Rotate here. I would be careful once again about how deep you're going in with your tires. There's no real need to necessarily go with that all the way in. Not much you can do there. That just kind of happens. Once again, though, if you were playing a little further back, you would have been with your team. They would have been to support you when I got picked off there, but fight was already won. Stop taking off angles as frequently, especially when you're like main fight here. It's just not worth it. You're better off trying to stay behind your tanks, shutting down and focusing a target down as opposed to going for off angle picks. On the off chance that the team is able to, on the common chance, more likely that the team is able to capitalize off of you separating, you need to be able to be with your team and fight that properly. Yeah, it's the same thing. I wouldn't. You're just going on an off angle. You're not always going to be able to get as much value as consistently as when you're just fighting on a main. So I would just flank less. Really, it's the biggest thing. Just be there with your tanks, with your healers to be able to provide frontal damage. Uh, yeah. Play main angles here. What usage? Yeah. Just careful about rotating faster, walking a little faster. Don't get hit by CC. Good though here. Be careful how much you're poking here, especially because you know they have the burst potential. Good call here. You stay on top to keep the value. That's well played here. You're playing here with a main angle. Be careful when you're going for poke here, especially because you have ults. You don't really have a huge reason to poke unless you're specifically going for picks. So just be careful once again. Right here, and I would just back out. There's no point in really trying to go for a sneaky pick here, especially because if they catch you out, it's not great. You're better off just playing it safe. Especially because you did have the time to rotate and take a safe rotate. They're gonna know. I do really like that you caught on here with the intent. This was a really good play. This was good. Example of flanking working. It was very well played. I do like the cognization there. So that was a good example of when it is you have to flank, but once again, that's not always. Just be careful when you're doing it. There's no point in doing it all the time. Careful where you're playing height, especially on this, because you know they're playing against a soldier. Good target focus. All right. Be a little bit more aware. Try to rotate faster if you can. That's really the biggest things. Don't always flank. You flank a little, like, way too much. There's no need to do that, like, all the time. No TP here, which is a little cringe. Okay, so first thing I would say, immediately you know that they're going to have the TP here. I would have broken that a little bit faster, reacted a little faster, and just backed off even faster, really. Because really, the most value you're going to be able to generate here against their team is constantly hacking their ball. Whoever fights here, that's going to be your best chance to generate as much value as possible, right? Because you hack their diva, it's just going to be real charge. Perfect. Like hacking the ball, he's useless. You can make every single fight a 5v6. Good awareness. You know, you able to pick that up? That's well played. Call that tracer there. Good hack on the Diva. We're able to aggress all of that. Biggest thing is because you're aware, because you know that that being able to play around the hacked health pack isn't as helpful. Instead, you should be playing around your hacks in order to generate as much value as possible. This is what you do. That's really well done. You can change your game plan. I probably wouldn't put trans there, but that's all right. So when you use EMP there against their team, I definitely would make sure you get their Zen in it, because if their Zen doesn't get EMP, then it almost makes it useless. So just make sure you're getting your the Zen when you're able to there. I don't really know what that trans was. Pretty bad. Be careful taking the 1v1s here. Not always a fight you can win, but that's good. If you can, call that Sombra hack a little bit louder, because really, like, a target like that is very, very free for your team to turn around and fight. I think your best play of action here. Yep, well done. There's your waster bomb. It's kind of funny. Good MP. Honestly, I think your Sombra play there was really solid. Oh, can't make the jump. Can't make it. Yep. So really, like, you need to, when you're playing the Mei here, especially in this type of like a brawly comp, you need to be playing with your tanks, because the whole idea with this type of brawly comp is that you're able to capitalize on the Mei walls. But when you're taking the off angle, chasing the ball, you know, you're not able to generate that value. So you really need to be playing with your tanks, moving together as core, not trying to take flanks. If you're playing a different hero, fine, that makes more sense, but you're not. So when you're playing the Mei, you need to be generating value off of walls is the biggest thing. There, now if you're here for this, you could have probably prepared a wall here a little faster. That would have won the fight a little bit earlier. Point flips, we almost die. It's pretty funny. Yeah. There, you could have walled off of there. You could have blocked the hack, prevented their team from inting onto you. Just kind of stuff like that. Use your wall to create value. That's the best thing that Mei has, really. Same idea. I know you're trying to go for the sneaky blizzard, but you're just not going to make as much value as you could be with the team. Like right there, you could have been with the team. You could have followed that shadow up with a blizzard. Would have been even better. I've had to wait. Right here's like a perfect chance to wall them in, if anything. Nice shot. Oh no! In the pit. Yep. All right. So big takeaways I have for you. Just really don't play the off angles as much. Play with your team to be generating as much value as possible. Biggest thing is just play when you're playing the certain characters that you are, right? You need to be generating the type of value that you're gonna help your team with the most, right? When you're playing Mei, the best thing you have is wall. Undoubtedly the best thing you have is wall, and you're not able to get the value out of wall when you're not there to be able to catch with the rest of your team when they're trying to catch a split off. The Hanzo play was pretty good. Just be careful how much you poke. No, don't take duels if you're not able to win them. Just really just don't off angle as much as on junk. Just be careful. You're not going to be able to get away with a lot of stuff that you did, but otherwise, I thought your play in general was actually fairly solid. So, well done.